On May 29, it will be exactly 2 years of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu's progressive governance and its Greater Lagos agenda. Despite several challenges all through the year, the governor had always been resolute, delivering on his campaign promises and charting the sustainable future for a state known as the Center of Excellence. Welcome to Inside Lagos. I'm Adedoja. Salam Adeniyi.
Ẹni tí ò dé kò yìn ẹkù kan. Àwa ni Center of Excellence. Ẹni ò dé kò yìn ẹkù kan. Àwa ni Center of Excellence. Mo ní pé bó o bá dé kò yìn ẹkù kan. Àwa ni Center of Excellence. Àwọn òyìnbó débẹ̀ wọ́n rí tá a jẹ́ ṣe. Àwa ni Center of Excellence. Haúsá débẹ̀ wọ́n rí tá a jẹ́ ṣe. Àwa ni Center of Excellence. Àwọn Ìgbò débẹ̀ wọ́n rí tá a jẹ́ ṣe. Àwa ni Center of Excellence. Gbogbo Yorùbá débẹ̀ wọ́n rí tí wọ́n mú lọ. Àwa ni Center of Excellence. Ẹni òde kò yìn ẹkù kan. Èkó ò ní bàjẹ́ lórí àwa. Àwa ni Center of Excellence. Gbogbo ò bá dé kò yìn ẹkù kan.
The new Massey Children's Hospital will be upgraded. Now, that's one of the iconic projects of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu as he marks 2 years in office. Now, the old Massey Hospital is 107 years old. Well, at the same time, in the area, the governor flagged off the rehabilitation of Adeniji Adele, Okepopo, and Tapa Streets, all of them on Lagos Island. Lagos prides a center of excellence. It is a city that is transforming words into real action and leading the pack. And Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu is the captain steering that ship. One of such transformation is the new Massey Children's Hospital. The pediatric hospital would provide excellent medical care to children. Of course, construction work has already commenced at the site on Adeniji Adele.
At the inception of this administration, we promised you lasting and audacious reforms in critical sectors, which is encapsulated in our team's agenda. I'm proud to say that in the last 2 years, we have walked the talk, but not only initiating people-centered policy, but also by resiliently implementing those projects that enhance the collective well-being of our people. The construction of the new Massey Children's Hospital reflects our unwavering determination to bridge all gaps in the health sector, while the reconstruction of the 3 major roads on Lagos Island demonstrates this administration's commitment to an inclusive and non-discriminatory developmental agenda for the whole of Lagos State. Both projects affirm our commitment to the social contract we signed with Lagosians exactly 700 days ago. We are honored by the trust reposed in us and will continue to seek new opportunities to respond to the infrastructural needs of Lagosians. This government is driven by the desire to build a formidable and an equitable state with productive and healthy citizens. As a responsive government, we are determined that the inadequacy of the current Massey Children's Hospital to continue to meet the needs of a mega city with over 22 million population is certainly not acceptable. Guided by the second pillar under the team's agenda, this agenda encompasses health and environment. We're rebuilding and remodelizing and repositioning the Massey Children's Hospital into a 7-story, 150-bed, ultra-modern, fit-for-purpose pediatrics program and emergency general hospital. You can see the edifice that is coming right behind us here. On completion, this hospital will provide a secondary integrated care service and an acute care to both inpatient and outpatient in line with international best practices. Adeniji Adele, Okepopo, and Tapa Street, on the other hand, are being reconstructed as part of the Lagos Island Area North Action Plan, a regeneration project being handled by an interministerial committee which comprises of the Ministry of Fiscal Planning and Urban Development, works and infrastructure, environment, and water resources. The choice of the reconstruction and upgrade of Badeja Dele Okepopo Tapa is to kickstart phase 1 of the regenerational plan, which is informed by 2 factors. The first factor is the economic importance of these roads and the high level of traffic they convey, while the second factor is the complementary value these roads will add to the new Massey Children's Hospital. When completed, the newly upgraded road will improve road connectivity, it will unlock the perennial traffic gridlock, it will ease flooding in this area, and it will reduce travel time. It will eliminate the hardship that our citizens are currently experiencing in the area, and will enhance property value and further improve business and economic activity on Lagos Island. The new and well-equipped Massey Children's Hospital will also help to engender a significant reduction in infant and maternal mortality. I implore the good people of Lagos Island and its environs to bear with us with the temporary inconveniences that usually characterize road construction of this magnitude. I'm happy to inform you that the contractor is under strict instruction to minimize the pains that will be borne during the period of construction and has been charged to ensure a timely completion of the project.
The building is sitting on 4,000 square meters. It is on a site of 14,000 square meters, and it will be 150 beds, multidisciplinary, specialist pediatric hospital, probably the only one of its kind in sub-Saharan Africa when we're completed. Now, in my tours of the hospital, I kept looking at Massey Street and wondering how we were going to renovate the old Massey Street. And then Mr. Governor, I was complaining to him, and he says, "Oh, okay, I have a surprise for you." And he took me to this place here, and indeed, it was a surprise. And you can see all the space around us, which has allowed us the freedom to develop this master plan that we're looking at, which is the derivative of the blueprint strategy. So many people have been involved with the design of this project. We have local and international specialists in medical design. We have contractors, we have civil engineers, all kinds of people have finally come up with this master plan that we're looking at.
Aside from the reconstruction and upgrading of adjoining streets, Governor Sanwo-Olu is planning to make Lagos Island a pride of the metropolis. And this comes at a price, as some buildings would have to give.
Once this one is started, we will be coming towards the southern part of Lagos Island. Pelewura Market has to be completely regenerated. Abefe, the entire stretch of Pelewura Market, we're giving notice now, has to be completely regenerated. Complete. Jankara will come up with purpose-built recreational youth development center. That's what we're going to put in Jankara. It's for the youth, it's for our teeming population, it's for the energy that we'll have in Lagos. We're looking at the design. It will have sporting facility, it will have recreational facility, it will have entertainment facility. It will bring new life into the central of Lagos. That's what we want to do there.
We also visited the old Massey Street Children's Hospital on Massey Street through Itafaji. Clumsiness can best describe the situation. This old Massey Street Children's Hospital was established in 1914. Some of the challenges here is that this hospital can no longer cope with the influx of patients, and there isn't enough space for expansion. The new specialist children's facility on Adeniji Adele Road, on completion, will decongest this old Massey Street Children's Hospital, which will be kept as a satellite facility. More than 30,000 people have been employed by Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu's administration in 2 years to resuscitate the state from environmental degradation and improve sanitation. The Commissioner for the Environment, Tuji Bello, revealed this when he presented his ministry's scorecard at the 2021 Inter-Ministerial Press Briefing. A mega city like Lagos is faced with huge human and material waste. It is estimated that about 14,000 tons of waste are now generated daily in the state. On his arrival, Babajide Sanwo-Olu faced this challenge across the state highways and streets. To tackle this, the governor signed an executive order on his first day in office, declaring zero tolerance for environmental abuse, including illegal and indiscriminate dumping of refuse and construction of structures on drainage points and setbacks. Backed by law, the Ministry of the Environment got to work. It was an aggressive cleaning and clearing of roads and drains. Lagos, no doubt, is below water level. The issue of flooding is prevalent, and every raindrop sends shivers down the spine of residents.
It is very discernible that stability has been achieved in the restoration and rejuvenation of all the environmental structures which the administration of Babajide Sanwo-Olu brought about when he assumed office. The state, which was well known as an example of demonstration, as an example in demonstration of best practices, has retaken its pride of place in Nigeria and West Africa sub-region. For the management of the environment, through reduction of noise pollution to refuse disposal, through PSP operators, engaging in circular economy for plastic waste, promoting waste conversion, giving the landfill sites a facelift to enable waste disposal without hazards. And these are some of their remarkable achievements, I must say. To the extent of mitigating effects of climate change through tree planting and beautification and landscaping of parks and gardens. Then we move to managing the status of Lagos as a coastal city that does not make headlines anymore during rainy season for the wrong reasons. That residents have been displaced by floods and lives and properties under peril. But it's now a city that has made cleaning, clearing, and construction of primary and secondary drainage channels an all year-round business. For an environment sector in Lagos State, in the last 2 years, the best is yet to come. As part of intensified efforts on our environment, we set up an environmental education unit. This was a unit that was restored in the last 2 years. And this unit, I must say, has been very, very remarkable for us. They are set up with a view to creating continuous awareness on emerging environmental issues, as well as engaging in problem solving initiatives for a sustainable, resilient, and greener Lagos. A total of 192 numbers of secondary collectors drains spread across 20 local governments of the state, covering more than 200 kilometers in length, were cleaned and have now been completed. And there is also an emergency flood abatement gang. You see them in yellow uniform across the state. You see them everywhere, and you see their photographs. And when I show it to you, there are about 1,000 of these people all over the place. Most of them, they are doing the work that the local government should be doing. You see them sometimes on tertiary drains. Tertiary drains are responsibilities of local government. And when we talk of tertiary drains, these are the drains in front of your houses and so on. Sometimes we send them to go and clean some of these tertiary drains because of the problems they are creating for the secondary and primary channels. And this gang, I must tell you, they've been very, very hardworking. They've done a lot, and we must commend them for what they've done. We call them Emergency Flood Abatement Gang, EFAG, which was reintroduced by Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu as one of the strategies to ensure a flood-free state. They've discharged responsibility continuously, desilting and evacuating silt from tertiary drains, secondary drains, highways, and black spots. The EFAG gang has carried out routine maintenance, cleaning and doing emergency flood interventions on approximately 300 kilometers length of both tertiary and secondary drains all over the state in the last 1 year.
With the tons of waste generated daily, the Lagos State Waste Management Authority has successfully increased the number of trips collected daily at landfills.
Lagos State Waste Management Authority, LOMA, during the period under review, and due to the magnanimity of the Mr. Governor, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, has provided employment to over 30,000 residents. LOMA has successfully increased the number of trips completed daily at our landfill site from 357 to 850 daily on the average. So before we resuscitated Loma, we were recording only barely 350 trips to the job site. But today we can tell we are nearing 1,000 on a daily basis, 1,000 trips to that job site. We have witnessed growth in the PSP, that's private sector participation in waste management, that were the engine room of waste management before. They have also increased their capacity from 350 to 437 PSP companies that we have now. The period has also seen the acquisition of about 210 new compactors by the PSP operators themselves, who have also employed over 8,200 people. There's also a potential of 6,000 new jobs in recycling as well, but currently averaging about 4,000 for both formal and informal sector. 950 employees have also been hired under waste monitoring and policing, and another 350 are engaged as street captains. Other categories of people offered job opportunities are 300 marine waste employees, 14,010 street sweepers across the state, and another 3,500 under the highway managers. Loma has also installed a medical and healthcare waste treatment plant at Agege Transfer Loading Station. And in fulfillment of the policy on accelerated local content on technological development, 50 numbers of dyno bins were fabricated in-house at Loma headquarters. The ministry is at the verge of completing activities on the development of its policy on plastic waste in the state, the development of a plastic waste policy. The policy will serve as a guide in the management of plastic waste and a framework document that will move the state towards realization of zero waste, the principle.
This gathering is not just about what has been achieved, but what else is in the pipeline in creating a friendly environment and economic opportunities. On the fight against noise pollution, the ministry has attended to 912 public complaints emanating from religious organizations, clubs, and industries. The highest case prosecuted were from 500,000 to 1 million naira fine. All commercial drivers and their conductors in Lagos will be trained as part of the government's bus reform initiative. The Commissioner for Transportation, Frederick Oladeyinde, made this known during the 2021 ministerial press briefing to mark Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu's second year in office. It is Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu's 731 days and beyond. The need to know how far this administration has gone and a glimpse of a greater Lagos is the basis for this ministerial briefing. Transport management is one of the pillars of Babajide Sanwo-Olu's themes agenda, and that is why the Ministry of Transport is leading this year's briefing. So far, out of the 6 identified roundabouts and junction identified for improvement, 28 have been completed in the bus reform initiative aimed at restoring sanity back to the roads and reduce accidents. Aside this, Commissioner for Transport frowned at the lawlessness of commercial motorcycles, popularly called Okada, on the highways, says enforcement is back in full force.
The reform would include training the drivers, yes, getting uniforms, making sure that the cooperative has what you call like health insurance, all the kind of insurance and benefits that you get when you work for a company. So it just makes it worthwhile for people to want to work for this organization. One thing I can assure you is that the Agberos that you're talking about do not want to work in this kind of condition. They want a reform also, and that reform we will give them. So it's a reorientation, it's a modification, it's more training, and in a more structured way of running the bus system. So we put restrictions in place in 6 local government and 9 LCDs. And after the NSAS, there was a little bit of lapse, and we all know what happened because most of the police stations were attacked, etc. So the enforcement team had to regroup. But what you will find now is that a lot of Okadas are being arrested. So just yesterday, about 1,000 of them were arrested. Day before yesterday, also 1,000 were arrested. So there's a lot happening. So what has happened is that the task force has remodeled and re-strategized, and they're beginning to clamp down on this Okada. It might not be visible now, but over time you will see that Okada, the enforcement will step up, and you begin to see the visibility of what they're doing. But one thing I can assure you is that the task force people are actually working and making sure that we actually restrict them to the areas where they need to be. So when you have a reform and then everybody is everybody has a franchise route, there are rules and regulations that you have to stick to. So the price will be set by the regulatory agency, not the operator. And then if we have to increase the price, there will be a proper stakeholder that would happen, and then everybody would agree to it before we increase the price.
Within 2 years, Lagos State government has also delivered 51 iconic projects under the Ministry of Works and Infrastructure, aside from the ones done by the Public Works Corporation.
I make bold to say that 2 years down the line, the Ministry of Works and Infrastructure has continued to show a deep sense of responsibility and commitment in relentlessly striving to achieve the targets as envisaged in the Transportation and Traffic Master Plan and the SCMP. The state government, through the Ministry of Works and Infrastructure, has continued to deliberately invest in infrastructure as a critical driver. And how do you do this? It's not by mouthing it, it's demonstrated even the commitment of the funds to that sector. In 2020, the capex that we had as a ministry was 104.978 billion, and the year 20, that was in 2020, and in 2021 saw that figure also go up to 125.963 billion. That for me, it's a demonstration of the fact that we're a serious set of people. We say exactly what we want to do. So you have 23 projects finished on the building side. So you have the primary health care centers, you have EBESON, you have the skills acquisition centers, you have the MCC Badagry, and very soon in the coming weeks we'll go to commission the MCC Ekwe. So there are quite a number of buildings that we have done and finished, and some that are ready almost for completion in the coming weeks as part of the second year anniversary commissioning program. One of the things that we say in this administration is we do things in such a way that no senatorial districts, no division is left behind, that you will have progress across every strata of the state. And so on a senatorial basis level, Lagos Central, Lagos East, and Lagos West, we try to see exactly how those projects are. And you will see the percentage, most of them are in Lagos East, and then and about 20 to about half, in a 51-49 ratio, you will see the Lagos East and the Lagos West, Lagos Central and Lagos West percentage of projects. In this quarter alone, they have done interventions around some major roads, like typically the Oronshoki that leads to the jetty. They repaired that this year. They have done interventions around Old Odo Road that goes to Old Odo Alaba. That was why we could commission Tedimowo Bridge. They have worked, they have closely finished up Barua Kandos. They have taken up some roads that are not beyond what they can do, their capability, what they can do.
Some of the roads construction done and completed by this administration are Pensinema Flyover, Lagos-Ogun Boundary Roads, Lekki-Oniru Traffic Circulation Projects, network of 31 roads in Ojokoro and Shomolu network of roads, and many more. It's 10 days to the end of Ramadan, and Muslim faithful are seeking God's intervention in the affairs of Nigeria. Top on the list is security. In the month of fasting, tafsir or lectures are held to encourage faithful. This is one of such, having politicians, business moguls, traditional rulers, and renowned Islamic scholars. They have converged on this ground to pray for peace and harmony in the country. National leader of the APC, Asiwaju Tinubu, advised those who are beating the drums of war to desist, as war is not a respecter of anyone, including those who initiate it.
Tolerance, understanding, and management of anger is the solution to what we have on the ground. No leader of any nation, nor any community, we want its own people slaughtered, kidnapped, or killed. So you cannot put it on the head of one man. This situation has its historical perspective. We know when it started, but we don't want to give excuses. This government will perform, Nigeria will feel safe and be happy. You know, there is the twist and turn in democracy. There's always the hazard of the challenges, and we just have to build and tolerate each other, express love and harmony.
Governor Sanwo-Olu charged religious leaders to preach peace and laws of the land in their mosques, as that will go a long way to halt indiscipline.
Tóṣù May tó parí, a máa launch what a pè ní last mile buses. Àwọn bọ́ọ̀sì ẹ̀pọ̀ máa kó èèyàn mẹ́jọ, about 500 of it la máa launch nínú oṣù yìí lágbára Ọlọ́run. Tá a bá ti ṣe ìyẹn máa wá fún government ní ààyè láti sọ pé ẹ̀yin ọ̀kadà àti provide nǹkan tó yìnbó ń pè ní alternative fún àwọn aráàlú tó máa jẹ́ pé wọ́n máa wọ̀. So a kàn ní dà yín síta.
In the last 10 days of Ramadan, in which the Holy Quran was revealed to Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, it is believed that prayers are answered fast, and Muslim faithful hope their prayers concerning Nigeria will be granted. And that's a package on today's edition of Inside Lagos. Many thanks for being a part of it. I'm Adedoja. Salam Adeni. See you next time. Thanks for watching.